Who would you be without your oldest wound?
Ooh,
let's start with a bang.
With a bang.
Welcome to the Mastry Experience. I'm your host, Francesca Sipma, and we are diving deep into mental mastery. This is where self-awareness meets peak performance. You're going to witness the truth behind personal development, emotional breakthroughs, dissolving triggers, getting into flow state, discovering purpose, and most importantly, mastering intuitive action. And we do this through a process called HypnoBreathwork. This is your community committed to breaking behavior patterns, getting into alignment, pursuing excellence, and self-mastery. Let's do the work. This is the Mastry Experience. Mika Beckley.
Hello.
Welcome to the Mastry Experience.
Thank you.
We like to start every show with a question from our Mastery card deck. Your question today is, who would you be without your oldest wound?
Ooh,
let's start with a bang.
With a bang. Who would I be?
What is your oldest wound?
I think my oldest wound would probably be people pleasing.
I was just going to say it. I was going to say it for you, especially within your family dynamic.
Yeah.
So who would you be if that pressure and responsibility wasn't on you?
Well, I think it's ingrained in me to be intrinsically motivated anyway. So I feel like I would be successful no matter what, but I feel that pressure probably wouldn't have made the road so bumpy. The self-doubt that I had, the insecurities, just ensuring or hoping that I'm, making other people happy when in fact I should have been focusing on what made me happy.
It feels to me like as you're speaking that there was just a lot of energy that went into other people and so much worry in the back of your mind all the time. So even though you've had this relentless focus, that was sort of a distraction for you a lot of your life, would you say?
I would say so. I think that it probably had blockers, or the reason why there was blockers was because I was like, I need to make sure I'm making everyone happy, but not focusing on Mika.
All right. Well, listen, we have had quite a little journey together. So we met at the University Club in San Diego. We were both members there. You know how I felt about that experience. But it brought me to you, which you've been such a blessing. Truly, you've been one of the biggest blessings since I've moved to San Diego, and it's been such a pleasure to meet you and get to know you. And we know that you have 2 decades of military experience in the Air Force and Space Force as a leader, and now you're a HypnoBreathwork coach. So talk to me a little bit about that day that you joined the HypnoBreathwork event. What was going on with your life at that time, and what kind of drew you to the experience?
Yeah, so I had just recently retired from the military, I think 3 months out, fresh out of 20 years of Air Force, Space Force, and I was like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. Like, what do I want to do when I grow up? And so with that, the University Club had this experience of breath work, and I honestly didn't even know what it was. And instead of researching like I normally do, I was like, you know what, this is a new chapter. You don't have to rush into things, but this feels right. Like your email spoke to me. It was the way that you lived your life before breath work that resonated with me. Just 4 a.m. workouts, crazy schedule all throughout the day, socializing at night, and then doing it all over again, but then adding in a child as well, because I'm also a single mother of a 13-year-old. Hi, Ariana.
Yeah, you were attracted to the breath work because you were curious, but then my backstory because it was busy and you could relate to that.
100%. So with you just pouring into your career, that's exactly what I did for the last 20 years, climbing the ranks, also taking care of people, pouring into others. And then when I realized that, wow, there's other people out there in the corporate world, Francesca specifically, and your story just mirrored mine in so many ways. So I was like, I need to go in and get this breath work. Let's see what's going on. Go in, show up. You and Stephanie welcome me with open arms. I show up there early because I'm military.
I love that.
And I'm like 20 minutes early, like, all right. So, but I went through the experience and it changed everything.
Your experience was so interesting to me because I feel like purpose is a really elusive concept for people. Like they find it to be really high level, really conceptual. They can't really grasp it and put their finger on it. But for me, it's always been really simple. It's like purpose is the convergence of your skills, the obstacles you've been through, and being of service. And when you did the first breathwork session of the day, you just had this immense clarity, and it felt like the dots started to connect for you. It was literally your interest and your skills. What do you think it was that you didn't really connect those dots on your own until you got into the breath? Why is that?
I was able to just listen to myself, you know, your cues, and then just like internally saying like, how do you feel about this without any outside influence? How do you truly feel? And it definitely opened so many things inside of me that, you know, led me to this journey that I'm on right now.
I just remember this moment. I still remember you sitting like in that booth, and I was standing in front of you, and I was like, okay, so you have military experience, you're a mom, you want to help people. It's pretty clear like how you're going to move forward. And it was just like aha moment. Like you just had this massive breakthrough, I think, on your very first one.
Yes.
And then the thing that I feel like really draws us to each other is we just have so many similar like qualities and mannerisms. Like your execution was fire. You know, you were just so quick to be like, I'm jumping in certification, I'm doing Unblock Your Purpose, I'm going to Bali. I was like, oh my God, this girl moves like I do, you know? But I think that was a huge reason why you had so much momentum so quickly.
Yes.
Have you always been like a bold action taker?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Definitely, especially as I started, you know, gaining leadership skills and realizing that there are people looking up to me. So I wanted to execute in a way that made sense for the mission, operation, etc.
What initially, just going backwards a step, like what initially drew you to the military? And why did you choose that career path?
Yeah, so my father was in the Navy, and so he served. And honestly, I was like, I could go to college. I'd accepted a few, but I wanted independence. I wanted to travel the world, to be able to pay for college. And within those 20 years, like just so many things I discovered. And it actually, yeah, a little bit of those things, but it really helped me discover who I was, you know, that I am bold, that I am a leader, that I can do whatever I set my mind to. And I definitely learned all that while in the military. That's
a tough environment to discover your leadership as a woman. What was that like for you?
Yeah, every room I walk into, I'm the only person that looks like me. Not only a woman, but a Black and Asian woman as well. And so I knew that when I walked into rooms, I had to almost prove myself before I even said a word. So that's why like dress and appearance is big, right? The way I interact with others, just because you have that judgment before you even say anything. But I let my actions speak for myself, as well as my subordinates under me, and some leaders. Those will tell you exactly how you're doing, you know, those under you, and honestly, even laterally. Yeah.
It was interesting in Bali because I remember Tamara saying to you, I have full body chills right now, girl. I remember Tamara saying to you, like, you're so feminine. And you were just like, me? Really? Because you had to be so assertive to be successful in that world. And for her to kind of see your essence and to see your truest self when you were, and obviously Bali is like the spiritual vortex. You're just so authentically you when you're in that space, like everything's stripped away. And she like saw your soul, you know? And I feel like that was just such a turning point for you in leaning more into your feminine.
It was, honestly. Thank you, Tamara.
Yeah.
Because seriously, like with her telling me that I was feminine, I was like, is there another Mika around here? Who are you talking about, right? As we're wrapping up this amazing Bali experience, totally life-changing. But when I heard that, I was like, you know what? I am feminine. Yeah. And then I just started leaning into it, you know? You saw the change in my body, the things that I'm doing. And I feel that glow has also shown up because someone kind of confirmed what I deep down inside knew. Yeah. But it was just nice to hear it.
Yeah. And how has HypnoBreathwork sort of impacted your life now that you're out of those really intensive experiences and you're just kind of back into your day-to-day life and navigating your career?
Yeah. So HypnoBreathwork, I do it every morning when I wake up.
Yes, girl.
It's like, hey, along with my gym, this is like a non-negotiable for me because it has propelled my life in so many ways. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am today. Amazing, successful career after the military as a consultant. I'm also a HypnoBreathwork coach, so I still get to help people and pour into active duty and veterans. Helping some of my friends transition. My friend, she just recently had a child. I helped her through that with breath work. My younger daughter, who's 13, I helped her through getting her nerves out for her first day of school. There's just different ways that you can use breath work, and you don't realize like how many things are just stuck in your, you know, on your mind and in your heart and your body that can just be easily released through breath work.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit, because I know you've always, since the day we met, you've been so passionate about bringing this work to specifically active military. We've talked about veterans and we've talked about family dynamics, but tell me about sort of like the mental and emotional state of active military and how this work would benefit them.
Yeah, so active duty military, right? We're taught to just kind of choke our feelings down, move forward with a purpose. Mission is a mission. And yes, I will say as time progressed over the 20 years that they've definitely started focusing more on mental health.
Yeah.
And so with that, along with the breath work, is where I discovered that I could possibly take this breath work and use it on active duty members. And to get back to your question, it's the execution of being proactive versus sometimes it's actually reactive, because you're just like, hey, stuff has just hit the fan. You gotta not think and go. So that sets things into your nervous system that I'm learning about, you know, through breath work that I've learned. And it just helps me get through a lot of things. So
I feel like because you have to shut down the emotion and just get things done or just execute, so much gets suppressed, right? And then that's obviously what stacks, and when we talk about PTSD coming out of those situations, it's all these emotional blockages and things that you couldn't grieve or process or release from your body. So having this as your tool to just kind of manage the day-to-day pressures, I think would be really game-changing.
Yes, 100%. I mean, when you think about just the day-to-day pressures, not even just the mission, but when you come home to your family, like the things that you think about or the things that you do at work, and then you come home, you have to disassociate and compartmentalize. Right. Breath work helps with that. I think will help with that, you know. So
also in terms of like the family dynamic and the unit, you know, I think one thing that we consistently see when we do sessions is how much more compassionate and aware it makes you of another person's perspective. And I think even bringing wives, husbands into that, seeing your role as dad, as partner, that would actually create a lot more harmony in the home, right?
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so Mika, you know that I'm going to be taking you through a HypnoBreathwork session today.
Yes.
So we know how breakthrough one session can be, especially a private, customized one. So what's kind of going on in your life right now that I can serve you?
Well, I mean, probably some rejuvenation would be great. Like I said, my friend just had a baby 2 days ago. Her husband's deployed. So I stepped in to be there. And I have a 13-year-old. So I'm like, I forgot what it's like having a newborn. So that, I would say my love life is going really well. Let's see. Work-wise, I'm doing well. It's really just staying focused and motivated on those days where I'm just like, okay, I think I'm doing well. No, keep your foot on the gas. Because you should be kicking ass regardless. Right?
Okay, you mentioned it, so I'm just going to go in before we do the session. But I recall a couple different breathwork sessions afterwards. The intuitive action for you was to open your heart. Right?
Yes.
And I feel like was it like a year from your first HypnoBreathwork experience that you manifested this man?
I would say Bali, so that was probably about it,
it was like right after Bali.
Yeah, right after Bali.
How has you doing that inner work on yourself and stepping more into your feminine attracted this partnership, this relationship?
I just feel like the person that I was before is just enhanced in a way where I'm allowed to be free and feminine and not think so much and let him lead. You know, like we always say we want a man who leads, but then when you have a man that leads and you're like, nah, I don't want it that way. It's like Mika, he wants to lead, let him do it. And so I'm just learning that about myself, right? Allowing myself to let go of control. Surrender.
I love it. All right, let's jump into HypnoBreathwork.
Sounds good.
You needed that.
I did.
What was going on in that session? It was like...
Well, let me preface with breathwork with you is always just hits differently, right? So when I give my own breathwork sessions or when I'm on Mastry app or have other of my breathwork friends give me breathwork, I love it, but nothing quite hits like a Francesca breathwork session. Mm-hmm. So I was like, she's going to make me cry. But there was a lot of different emotions, but the one that stood out to me was probably just gratitude, right?
Oh.
For my journey after the military, meeting you, being here, and talking about my story, but really like going through the visions and seeing how my life has progressed so exponentially since I've discovered breathwork. And I'm just very grateful for you. Mm-hmm. I'm grateful for breathwork, for HypnoBreathwork, just so much. It's a lot. It's
more gratitude just for you and your bravery and the journey that you've gone on, because what you've done is you've given your life so much meat. It's like you have all these really cool experiences and knowledge and wisdom and emotion that you get to pull from to kind of create this really unique path for yourself, because not everyone can understand how difficult those military experiences were, what the anxiety was like in those environments. And because you know and feel that so deeply, you can transcend it and then help people on that journey too. Yeah. But it felt like as soon as the first song started, I just got the feeling that like you haven't given yourself this space to just feel in a minute. Like I know that you said you've been really busy like helping out your girlfriend. So what was coming up just in the first few minutes?
Honestly, just being able to relax.
Yeah.
And then thinking about like how beautiful life is, because my friend just had a baby and I haven't had a newborn since, in my hand since 13 years ago, like really like with the experience. And it started bringing up like me as a mother and all the times that I missed in her life. And so a lot of those things started connecting, and I'm like, all right, start the waterworks, release, and
Okay. No, wait, that's really juicy. So your friend having a baby who you are now helping because her husband has been deployed has brought up for you being active military and missing some of those moments with your daughter in her earliest years. That's what came up in the session today?
Yeah, absolutely. Just to kind of like, so for my daughter, like I wasn't there for her first word. Like I heard mama through a voicemail, her walking and crawling. Thank God to my parents. They actually recorded it while I was gone. So those precious moments that I missed, just seeing such an innocent baby, it brought me back to that.
Has that come up for you before?
Yes.
And when I had you sort of wrap your breath around the emotion, where was it living in your body? Was there a color? What was it exactly?
Definitely in my chest and my womb area, orange and blue.
Orange and blue.
Yeah. And to let you know too, so the guy that I'm dating also, he doesn't have any children, and I'll say, I'm 40, we talk about like, do you want any more kids? And I was like, maybe this is my second chance to possibly be a mom and actually be present. But with being 40, there's this, unfortunately there's this stigma that you shouldn't have kids after 40, but I'm starting to see a lot of my friends and family members and others that are starting to have kids a lot later in life.
Yeah.
So, maybe this is what's supposed to happen, who knows, but it just opened up a part of me that was closed for so long. So.
Wow, that's special. Okay, so towards the end, I took you through a prompt where I had you see the impact you'd made. I had you see military, I had you see family, friends, your partner, your daughter. What did you see when I said family?
I saw me and my partner and a baby in like a carriage in Bali. Because he's a remote worker. So my my daughter, we talked about like, when she, college wise, like just being able to like go and travel and see the world. So talked about all that stuff. So I guess all of that just collided in the breathwork session. So yeah.
Okay. Mika, you're a HypnoBreathwork coach, so you know the deal with this, but you have a thought, like almost a seed of, do I do this journey again where I can be a present mother with this partner? And then you have the limiting beliefs and the stories and society's pressure about age and what that looks like. But then you just did the breathwork journey where you're most attuned to yourself, where you're in your subconscious, where you're feeling your intuition, and you saw that as your future 100%. With your man's and a new baby.
I will say this, that HypnoBreathwork fills in the lines. It fills in the gaps that when you're thinking out loud and you have the world just so loud and you're like, you know what? It's me and my breath, and what do I really want? What do I want deep down inside? And that vision is never going to lie to you. Those downloads are never going to lie to you. So.
Oh my goodness, girl. I was not expecting this. What is your next intuitive action step?
Yeah, it's funny because when you ask these, they're actually small steps, but they end up being so large. Like I will say for relationships, you're like, well, what's your first intuitive action step? I said, make eye contact with a man. Let's start there, right? And now I'm in a whole relationship and talking about having a baby with them, maybe. So there's that. This is where HypnoBreathwork leads you guys.
Oh my
But yeah, I will say that it was go to the ocean. This is where I go to create, where I go to calm. This is where I go to release, where I go to restore, rejuvenate, where I go to speak with God, just to be with myself. That's where I feel most at peace. And so whenever I'm like, all right, a lot's going on in my life, where do I go? Go to the ocean.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you brought this up. You know, I think the part that differentiates our style the most, it's not just blending the breath with hypnosis. We know that's really powerful, but it's how action oriented we are. Yeah. And you and I are like that by default. You know, like for us, thought and execution is like the same move, but for most people, it's really not. And there's so much fear and there's so much doubt in taking the action towards living your dreams, whether it's building your business, it's quitting corporate, it's falling in love. And the action steps that come up in your intuition, they're like almost tactical, you know, but they compound, which is why we say do this every single morning. Take the small action, because the email that you send, going to the beach, and whatever insight or download that comes through, these are the micro moments that lead to us creating the life of our dreams. So I can't wait to see and follow your journey with this intuitive action, because this is a big one, and I can't wait for you to share this with the Bali family, because they're going to go absolutely insane and support you so much. You are also starting your own sort of division for your own breath work. So tell us about this company that you're building around breath.
Yeah, so I started Beckley, and it's geared mostly towards active duty and veterans, but all walks of life, just because, you know, when I'm out and about, I'm like, have you ever done breath work before? I'm out here, you know, and educating people on that. So my company is just geared toward people who have gone through the same things I've gone through. I can talk their language. I know what they're going through. I know this, you know, deep down inside, the strength that they have to carry throughout every day, and understanding that, hey, I'm here to let you know that you can release, and hopefully you'll get to your next action step, which will be clarity or whatever that is.
And how can people find you if they're active military, they're really intrigued by this modality and they want to work with you? How can they find you best?
Yeah, you can find me on my IG, Gamora Love 11.
Beautiful. And if anybody at home wants to experience a HypnoBreathwork session similar to the one Mika just went through, I would recommend for this one, starting with the 7-day reset on Mastry app. The very first session is on self-worth. It will allow you to release emotion and get clarity. Mika, thank you for being you, and thank you for being on the Mastry Experience.
Thank you for having me.